Hello friends, welcome back. I am Rajneesh and today in this episode we are going to understand how to upgrade a Red Hat cluster. Till now we have created a two node cluster with node 10 and node 11. Both are having the operating system CentOS 6.3 and Red Hat 6.4 or CentOS 6.4 has been in the market for some time. So our objective is to upgrade this operating system and the packages from CentOS 6.3 to CentOS 6.4. Before that, we need to understand what's the status of the service. CLU stat is the command which displays you the status of the services. Here you can see your my web cluster is now working fine on node 10 and it's running on node 10. Now our objective is to first upgrade node 10. It could be due to any reason. If you want to upgrade node 11, it is going to be pretty easy because the services or the clustered web service is not running on node 11. If you are talking about upgradation of node 10 first, you will have to relocate the service from node 10 to node 11 first. So how do you do that? CLU svcadm is a command that provides you the options that you may use to start, stop, enable or disable your web service or clustered service. Any clustered service can be managed through CLU service manage administrator, CLU svc adm. So just say -h and here you can see the option. -d is to disable. Group means your service group or the clustered service, which is my web cluster in this environment. So it disables a group service and the service will be disabled for now. If your cluster loses and regains quorum, the service will be enabled. Or if an administrator manually enables it using -e, then also it will be enabled. Or it could be any script that could enable it. So -e is to enable a particular service. Group is again my web cluster or your service group. -f it enables that service group according to the failover domain rules. So it's deprecated as of this version. -e service -m member name. Member name in our scenario could be node 10 or node 11. So you can specify on which member this service should be enabled. -r is to relocate that service to a different clustered node. -m you can specify the node where the service should be relocated. So it will first stop in the current node and it will be started in the other node. -m is to migrate that service to a different member. It could be used, for example, you are talking about live migration of the VMs. -r to restart a group. -s to stop your clustered web service. Okay, whenever I'm talking about group, it's a clustered service. Stop the clustered service. This temporarily stops the service. After the next group or cluster member transition, the group will be restarted if possible. -z freezes resource group. So it prevents any transition and status checks and is useful if the administrator needs to administer some part of the service without stopping the whole service. -u is to unfreeze it. -c is to repair or fix resource group. So you can lock resource group managers and you can unlock them and show the lock state -s. Okay, so let us start with the relocation of the service to node 11 and let's start upgrading node 10 first. CLU stat -i interval. After every 1 second it's going to refresh itself. And in the meantime, CLU -R to relocate the service my web cluster to which member? Node 11. And here it says it's trying to relocate the service. If you see, it's stopping on node 10 and it's now starting on node 11, and finally it's started on node 11. Now your node 10 is free. If you want, you can bring down the clustered services on node 10 and you can start its upgradation. So service RG manager stop, and here you'll see the status of RG manager. It should be down in a few seconds. It's trying to stop it and it stopped, and here you can see RG manager is now stopped. You should stop GFS2. You should stop CLVM, and finally you should stop CMAN on it. So here, if you will see to it, now this node 10 goes offline as far as the cluster is concerned. So node 10 is right now offline and you can work on it. If you don't want these clustered services to be running at the start, you can just switch them off. CMAN off, CLVMD off, GFS2 off, and RG manager off. So these services are not going to be started at the reboot of the machine, and we are going to start them manually for the first time. Okay, so the next step is how to upgrade this machine. One is simply use yum update, but if I'm talking about my environment, I am going to use a DVD. So coming on to node 10, I have already attached CentOS 6.4 DVD to it, so that is fine. Let me create a directory /mnt CentOS 64. I'll go to etc yum.rappos.d, CentOS media.rapo. I'll add one more entry and make sure in case the other media is not connected, you can just disable that with enabled equal to 0 option. So CentOS 64 name equal to CentOS 6.4 base URL equal to file protocol mnt CentOS 64 GPG check. If you want to check out the signatures, enabled by default is 1. Now I'll just run the command yum update. I'm doing all this. Okay, it says some of the packages. Okay, did I mount it? Dev CD-ROM to media. Sorry, mnt CentOS 64, and I just type yum update. Is it okay? Yes. So now it's downloading the packages. In the meantime, I can have a look at the status of the cluster. So the cluster service is running and working fine on node 11. So it's going to take some time. And after this node has been upgraded, we are going to reboot this node to make sure that we have a new kernel and all the upgraded packages, and we are going to restart the service after that. And after one of the node is upgraded, we'll upgrade the second node also. The list of packages is around 289, so it's going to take some time. So here you see your web service is still running. Python. So finally we are upgrading the clustered nodes one by one, but your cluster will not be impacted, or you can say your clustered service will not have any impact. That will continue to run on the other node. And the reason why we made the node 10 offline was due to any reason the service should not be migrated to node 10 till the time we are upgrading that clustered node. It's going to take some time. You may have your tea or coffee. And we'll bring this node 10 into the cluster when it's properly upgraded and it works fine after the reboot. Let's wait. So here you can see that your clustered library, your Ricky, your fancy jeans, Cman, and all the clustered packages are also, even CoroSync, are getting upgraded. And the new kernel, even your Archie manager, Apache, GFS2, iSCSI initiator, so almost everything that is related to your cluster also. Okay, so final cleanup. Okay, so we are almost done with it. View console. Final state, which is verification of the packages. Okay, so upgrade is completed. I'm just going to reboot it to make sure that It comes up fine. Here you can see your status. So it's starting its boot up. Here you see now your version has been upgraded to CentOS 6.4. Previously it was 6.3. SSH service is not yet running. I think it should be up now. So the server is working fine, but still our clustered services are offline because we haven't yet started them. chk config, so services related are chk config cman, clvmd, rg manager, gfs2. So if you are talking about the block devices, you should have clvmd running, global file system running. For the relocation of services, you need RHEL manager, and cman is required for the base. So I just reboot it finally. And before reboot, I enabled all the clustered services. So after this node 10 boots up, you should be able to see that your clustered services or cman, RHEL manager, gfs2 all are working. So here you can see the status. Right now it's offline. Let's wait for some time. In the meantime, I can prepare node 11. I'm just going to disable this media and coming down. Is it up? Not yet. Here you can see that this node is now online, but RG manager is still not running on it. I'm just going to copy this uh, from node 10. Okay, actually it overwrited my CentOS media.repo. Yeah, the previous one is RPM save. I just copy it to node 11, and here you can see node 10 is now up online with RHEL manager, so it's working fine. Let me create the folder CentOS 64. So I'm planning for the upgradation of the second node, node 11. I'll create the folder, and I'm going to mount the CD or the DVD corresponding to RHEL 6.4 in node 10 this time. Sorry, node 11, because node 10 is already upgraded. So here I click on ID CD-ROM. It's 6.3 right now. I disconnect it, click on connect, browse, and I have my OS under data, OS images, CentOS 6.4, and here we go. So it's now connected to node 11. Mount dev cd-rom mnt CentOS 64. So okay, it's busy. Why is it busy? Cat proc mounts grep media. You cannot see anything. SR0 CD. I cannot see it mounted. Try again. Dev cd-rom to mnt. Yeah, so it's mounted. And now to upgrade, okay, CD has been mounted to node 11 also, but before I start working on node 11, I need to stop the clustered services on it. And before that, I'll have to make sure that I migrate my clustered services to node 10, which is already upgraded. If you'll see the status, Red Hat release, this is now CentOS 6.4, but your node 11 is still using CentOS 6.3. So let me relocate the services CLUSVCADM minus R my web cluster minus M to the member node 10. Now here it says I am stopping the services on node 11 and it's starting on node 10 and it started fine. CURL http www.labs.local just to make sure that I can still access the web services. Yes, I can, and the service is now started on node 10. Now my next objective is to bring node 11 out of cluster because the services are already running on node 10, so it would be fine taking it out. CLU stat minus I1. I am going to monitor the status of the cluster from node 10 because the clustered services will continue to work on it, and I am going to bring node 11 offline now. chk config RHEL manager of GFS2 of CLVM of CLVMD of and the base cman off, so they won't be available after reboot. And let me shut down the services for now also, starting with RHEL manager. Make sure that you are stopping the services in the same manner because these services depend upon each other. Now if you talk about GFS2, it depends upon CLVM, so GFS should be stopped first. Now CLVM is also stopped, and finally we are going to stop cman. And if you look into node 10, you'll see node 11 is now offline because cman is not running on it. Cluster manager or none of the cluster services is running on it. So yes, we are ready to upgrade node 11 now. I just type the command yum update and I just type y. So it's going to start the upgradation of node 11 now. It'll take a few minutes. And in the meantime, you can have a look into the status of your cluster. So your cluster is working fine on node 10, and in the meantime you are doing the maintenance or the upgradation of node 11. Still a lot of packages are left. Okay, so our node 11 has been upgraded. Let's reboot it. After the node has been rebooted, you can see that cman is still not running, and it's right now node 11 is offline. Let's bring it online. Chkconfig RHEL manager on, gfs2 on, clvmd on, and cman on, and just reboot node 11 once again. Now this time when the node 11 will come up, it is going to be up with CentOS 6.4, and it is going to join our cluster. Here you see it's CentOS 6.4 in the console, and if you keep it refreshing, that's still running on node 10, you will see that the status of node 11 is offline till now, but it should be online any moment. Yeah, here you can see it's now online, but RHEL manager or resource group manager is still not running on it. So in next few seconds you'll see RHEL manager also, and if that says your cluster is now upgraded. Yeah, your cluster is upgraded. You can just try to log in into it. And here you see it's online. If you want to confirm, you can just try relocating your service to member node 11. So what it's going is it's going to relocate the service from node 10 to node 11. Right now it's stopping on node 10, and it's now starting on node 11. And the service web cluster service is now running on node 11, and it's working fine. And here you can see it's online, it's local, so all looks fine. And this is the way etc Red Hat release. So this is the way how you upgrade your cluster. Thanks for viewing the video. Have a great day.